floor my colleague and my boss, Varinia Radu, co-founder and CEO of Energynomics, a very knowledgeable professional in the energy industry and also a very nice person. You probably know her already and you will have the opportunity to meet her today if you haven't until now. Varinia, please, a few words for opening this day. Thank you for this idea, which came to a very nice fruition already.
Thank you, Gabriel. I'm actually very emotional because it's our first time in London, and London holds a great place in my heart since I've been here and studied here in my past. So, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, good morning and welcome to this important conference focused on British-Romanian bilateral investments in the energy sector. It is truly an honor to have you all here gathered as we set the stage today for what we hope to be a meaningful dialogue and collaboration that will add to the existing great strategic partnership between our countries. Energy is at the core of the economic development and sustainability, and it is increasingly clear that the challenges we face, from climate change, energy security, and the need for a transition to the greener sources, require innovative solutions that transcend borders. The collaboration between the United Kingdom and Romania presents this unique opportunity to leverage our strength. Great Britain is renowned for its pioneering advancements in renewable energy technology, financial investment capabilities, and importantly, the regulatory framework that supports innovation and really shapes the markets. Meanwhile, Romania boasts a rich landscape of natural resources, as well as a commitment to diversifying its energy supply and enhancing sustainability. By joining forces, we can create a powerful synergy to drive further the investment. I'd like to convey a big thank you to our co-hosts for today, the Romanian Embassy in London and the British Embassy in Romania. A very special thank you to Her Excellency Laura Popescu, the Ambassador of Romania to the United Kingdom, for graciously hosting us today, as well as His Excellency Giles Portman, British Ambassador to Romania, for your support. We are grateful to have you both here. We appreciate your leadership and dedication to enhancing the bilateral relations. I'd like to thank personally to our distinguished guests, representatives from the Romanian authorities, His Excellency Florin Spătaru, a State Counsellor at the Government of Romania and former Ministry of Economy, and His Excellency George Niculescu, President of the Regulatory Authority, Energy Authority in Romania. Thank you for all of us joining us today. I encourage you to discuss, exchange ideas, and foster collaboration, and we hope this is just the first step in taking the energy subject on the agenda of both countries even further. Thank you very much. I would like to pass the floor now. I'd like to give the floor now to Laura Popescu, Ambassador of Romania to London. Thank you very much for hosting us and for all your support, and same as your team. Thank you.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you all this morning to the conference International Approach London, Catalyzing Romania's Energy Future. Today we gather not just to discuss energy, but to reaffirm the strong and evolving partnership between Romania and the United Kingdom. This event, organized by Energynomics and supported by both the Embassy of Romania to the United Kingdom and British Embassy to Romania, reflects our shared vision for a secure and sustainable energy future. I'm particularly delighted to share this introductory panel with His Excellency Giles Portman, the UK Ambassador to Romania, and also extend a warm welcome to Minister Florin Spătaru, State Counsellor at the Prime Minister Chancellery, and Mr. George Niculescu, President of the Romanian Energy Regulatory Authority. A warm welcome to all participants today, and the fact that this room is full is really encouraging. Your presence here reflects our collective dedication to fostering meaningful collaboration. Last November, during the visit of the Romanian Prime Minister to London, we had the privilege of organizing a Romania-UK Business Forum, Business and Investment Forum in the City of London. That event underscored a crucial reality. Romania is exceptionally well positioned to strengthen and expand its economic and commercial ties with the United Kingdom, particularly in the strategic field of energy. Romania's energy sector is not just an economic opportunity, it is a pillar of regional stability and security. As the second largest producer of natural gas in the European Union, and with a diverse and balanced energy mix, including hydro, wind, solar, and nuclear power, Romania is charting a course towards total energy independence by 2030. Our country is among the most favorable locations in Europe for renewable energy investment, boasting some of the best conditions for both solar and wind energy production. Notably, Romania is home to one of Europe's largest onshore wind farms in Fântânele, Constanța, with an even larger project planned in Botoșani. However, energy security today is both an economic matter and a geopolitical imperative. The war in Ukraine has reshaped the European security landscape, reinforcing the need for resilience, diversification, and strategic cooperation. Romania has been a crucial ally for the vulnerable partners of the Black Sea region, particularly the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine. We have stood firmly in support of Ukraine, providing humanitarian aid and facilitating supply routes. We have also consistently advocated for Moldova's European integration, providing economic aid, political support, and strengthening cross-border ties through initiatives that help the country reduce its energy dependency on Russia. Our geographical position grants us both an opportunity and a responsibility to act as a bridge between East and West, ensuring that the extended Black Sea region is not subjected to external coercion. In this context, Romania remains steadfast in its commitment to fostering energy security, bridging development gaps, and enhancing regional connectivity. Through the European Union, NATO, and key strategic initiatives such as the Three Seas Initiative, we will continue to advocate for projects that enhance interconnectivity, resilience, and shared prosperity. This conference goes beyond mere discussion. It is a catalyst for meaningful action. We must forge new partnerships between financial institutions, private equity firms, and energy companies from both Romania and the United Kingdom. We must seize this moment to shape an energy future that is sustainable, resilient, and reflective of our shared democratic values. I'm confident that the discussions today will inspire new collaborations and reinforce our shared commitment to energy security and regional stability. Thank you, Mrs. Varinia, Radu, and all the Energynomics team for putting up this timely event. It started 2 months ago, I think, with a coffee in my office, and here we are today. Thank you again for your presence and engagement, and I look forward to fruitful exchanges that would follow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your support for these opening remarks. I will now give the floor to His Majesty Giles Portman, British Ambassador of the UK in Romania. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Ambassador, State Secretary, President. It's really lovely to be here and to see a full room. And I'm really glad that I was able to be back in London for this event. And as the Ambassador said, actually it was the last time I was back in London officially was for the Prime Minister's visit here last November. And indeed, that meeting at Mansion House was a very important gathering of business people from both our countries, and a very important acknowledgement of both the scale and the potential of the trade and investment relationship between Romania and the UK. Scale, because last year we were able to say for the first time that our bilateral trade had passed the £10 billion mark, and the UK is a top 10 investor in Romania. But potential, because I think actually we can do better, and there's more that we can do together. And I think the energy sector is one of the most important sectors where we can work together more closely, be it green energy, energy security more broadly. We've identified it in the British Embassy as one of the most important sectors for us to give you our support in developing. 4 quick thoughts from me about why it matters so much this year. Firstly, of course, climate change. And both Romania as a member of the European Union and the UK have committed to ambitious targets for net zero. The UK is pushing these targets perhaps even harder than almost any other country. But the truth is, we're off track to meet our target of only a 1.5 degree rise in global temperatures. So we need even more entrepreneurialism and investment in new energy technologies to try and get us back on track. Secondly, of course, the war in Ukraine made us all realize that we were too dependent on external energy sources to our east, and we've made incredible progress in correcting that. Some countries have gone further than most, but the overall picture is hugely encouraging. But again, we have to continue with that process and make sure that we don't backtrack. Thirdly, this year is the year that the British government wants to reset its relationship with the European Union a few years after Brexit. And I think we've recognized that in the energy sector, we've grown further apart when we need to grow closer together, whether it be in energy infrastructure, energy security, energy pricing. And that will be a real priority for the British government this year. In fact, I'm going to Brussels week after next to talk about those very things with senior Romanians in the European Union. And fourthly, I think we have to bear in mind the new US administration and the fact that Europe is going to have to stand on its own feet a bit more in future, especially in the realm of defense and security. And that is going to cost us money. And again, we're going to have to generate that money by renewed growth. And the energy sector is, I think, one of the key areas where we can do that. So as already has been said, I think Romania and the UK is a natural partnership in the energy sector. Romania is in many ways already a regional leader in the energy transition. There have been record investments in hydro, in wind, in solar. I've been able to see this development as I've lived in Romania over the last year. I've been able to go to Cluj and see the launch of hydrogen buses in Cluj. I've been able to climb one of the wind turbines in that wind farm that the ambassador mentioned. So there's huge potential, but already a great deal going on in Romania. And I do also want to pay tribute to the Romanian government for the role that is being played by Romania in terms of regional energy security, in particular, the support for Moldova at such a crucial time. But I want to emphasize the UK offer too, across such a wide range of expertise, whether that's in green finance, in public-private partnerships, technology transfer, energy storage, industrial decarbonization, structured financing, and nuclear. I do just want to mention nuclear also as an area where the UK has world-class expertise and quality. It should be part of the mix, and the UK can be a reliable partner for Romania in that sector too. So you have lots to talk about. My key message to you today is that the British Embassy is at your disposal. We're here to help you. It is a priority for us, so don't hesitate to be in contact and ask us for advice, support. That's what we're there to do. So thank you very much. I hope it's a really fruitful discussion today.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We are here to help, you said, and you already did. Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to the representative of the Romanian government, Mr. Florin Spătaru, State Counsellor with the Romanian government, is here with us. Thank you very much, Mr. Spătaru. Please, a couple of words from yours.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Excellencies, Mr. Ambassador, Madam Ambassador. It's a great pleasure to be here. It was organized almost in the last minute that I'm here, but you know, in a very turbulent time in Bucharest and also worldwide, we are talking about normality now. We are talking about how to link the network between Romania and UK in order to have the normality of the future. I appreciate very much that His Excellency, the Ambassador, was mentioning about the visit of the Prime Minister in UK, in London, where apart from the political discussion, we are talking about two things. And I do consider this is also a follow-up of the discussion which took place in London. We're talking about economy and we're talking about energy. That means that those two aspects are extremely important for both countries. I'm coming from the industry, and a couple of years ago, together with the British companies, we are putting some stones on what is nowadays called the renewable energy sector. For the one of you who don't know, in Romania, in my hometown in Galați, has been made the most complex support vessel for wind farms offshore. It is a very complex vessel where you can do the maintenance for the projects of UK. Two vessels were delivered at that moment, and it was planned also that this project is going to continue. So already from that moment, although you are facing the Brexit, already from that moment the cooperation between Romania and UK was going on in this sector. But now it's more than that. And we heard in the last period of time about that we might give up to our ambitions regarding the greening of our planet. We are saying that why we should do that? Why don't we look at competitiveness? Why don't we reconsider our targets? Romania is committed to go further into this program. Maybe with a different meaning, maybe understanding what does this means and considering also the competitiveness. But overall, I think it's our responsibility for the future and for our children and for the generations to come to make sure that they will have a better planet and they will have a competitive industry, they will have a job, they will have energy, and they will make sure that also their next generations they have a future on this planet. And for that reason, Romania is continuing the program. We have several projects, and I think George is very well aware about what is going on there. But we are doing something more. We have already started last year to design what we call the Green Deal Industrial Plan. But that Green Deal Industrial Plan would mention what kind of industries are going to be developed in Romania, what kind of resources do we have, and of course the meeting of today and the ones who come, and thanks Energynomics for having the opportunity to have so many people together, will design the path how those future industries are going to be fed in terms of energy. We passed some periods where we had less energy, we had high prices, we had difficulties on keeping our competitiveness. And we might come back, but that's not the way. We have to be creative enough, we have to move on into this renewable energy and to redesign our energy sector in such a way that it will feed a Romanian, a country which has the aim to become an industrial hub. Last year, we we had two important reports of Mr. Letta and Mr. Draghi talking about the reindustrialization of Europe. And it was already stated in March last year, the fact that there is no future for the European Union without an industry. In the previous years, we are considering that the industry is not going to be an asset for Europe anymore. We are thinking that only by doing the research, making licensing, and doing the project elsewhere, that would be the future for Europe. And now we realize, after the pandemic, after the energy crisis, and after a war knocking on our door, we realize that this is not the way forward. And for that reason, Romania made this initiative, and we did it at the Chancellor of the Prime Minister, to define this Green Deal industrial plan. Why? Because we do consider that our legacy, our companies and our resources are proper for what we will call the new industry of Europe. And the new industry of Europe is including also the energy sector. And I would very much like to hear what are your thoughts? Because whatever we are going to design in our offices in Victoria Palace or in the other institutions, you are the ones who have the power to tell us how to move on with that. Of course, making rules and defining all this, all the aspects, but you have the initiatives, and this is our role, to encourage you to come with your initiatives and making sure that those initiatives will become a reality. Thank you very much once again for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to have a very interesting discussion here and to bring to Bucharest the message to the Prime Minister and maybe some clear or very straightforward projects which might be implemented in a very short period in Romania. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spătaru, for joining us, and thank you for the messages. I thank all the speakers that to know their speeches focus more on the bilateral relationship between Romania and the UK, and also with some hints on the international context. We are moving slowly towards the business sector, and most of our day will be focusing on these topics. I will now give the floor to Mrs. Jaroslava, Korpanec's partner and head of Central and Eastern Europe at Actis Energy Infrastructure, one of the most relevant international funds for infrastructure and energy, of course, already operating in Romania through its Rezolv arm, and I'm very curious to find out more about your thoughts, Jaroslava, on the current context for the renewables especially. Thank you very much for being here, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me and for having the opportunity to tell you just a little bit about what we do in Central and Eastern Europe and in Romania in particular. Alastair, who's somewhere, our CEO of Rezolv, is going to give you details of our commitment to Romania and our projects. I joined Actis after having spent 17 years investing in infrastructure, mainly in Western Europe, although I did also make investments in Czech Republic into the gas sector, and it was Actis's commitment to Central and Eastern Europe and the recognition of that historic reliance of all of the CE countries on coal. I mean, let's not forget, we're still burning in that region. Over 38% of all of the electricity is being delivered is still from coal. And we have targets, which both of your excellencies have mentioned, which are set by the EU. And these don't come without penalties, where we have to reduce the dependency on hydrocarbons in those countries from anywhere between 25 to 50%. That's not going to happen without a significant amount of investment. And that investment has to come, by definition, from private sector. And that investment has to be commercial, and it has to be competitive. the market for renewables in all of those countries is still fragmented. In order to deliver competitive cost of energy, we need to deliver scale. And that is our job. We have successfully bid into the CFD in Romania, and through Rezolv, through our platform, we have provided the most competitively priced project, which we will be delivering in 2026. But I let Alastair talk to that further. Where do we see the opportunity as an international investor? So let me tell you a little bit about Actis. Actis Energy, which has got its deep roots to the UK government, but now we're entirely private and we're owned by our American friends, GA. But we have deployed over 8 billion in energy infrastructure in what we call growth markets. Those are the markets that are going to be delivering most of the world's growth and that are going to be consuming most of the world's energy. And they have all been heavily underinvested. Those are the markets of Latin America, Southeast Asia, India, Africa. In 2020, Actis has made a commitment to develop investments in the energy sector in Central and Eastern Europe, because they could see the need to decarbonize that region and to invest in the energy sector. And that need to invest in the energy sector doesn't just come through decarbonization, through removing the heavy dependency on Russian gas and oil, but it also comes through the growth. Let's not forget, and both of your excellencies mentioned this is the growth region. This is the hub for future industries for Europe. On average, double the GDP growth than what we see in Western Europe. The demand for electricity is driven by electrification of transport, by the build-out of smart technologies, by rollout of 5G, further fiber. All of that consumption is still going to be way ahead of Western Europe, and the investment in infrastructure is absolutely crucial. Last year, the IFM published that about 1.13 trillion of investments is needed in infrastructure to bring the countries of Central and Eastern Europe on par with where Western Europe is. That presents an enormous opportunity for us as infrastructure investor. As Actis, we have already committed over €1 billion in development of our Rezolv platform in Romania. We're already in construction. And again, I'm not going to steal your thunder, Alastair. And we're very excited to be part of this move. What is it that makes it attractive to an international investor like us? Well, what is most important is that we also have delivered to our investors who are behind us. And the investors, our LPs, about 60 to 70 LPs we currently have, and we hosted all of them in the Grove last week. And they represent pension funds, insurance companies. These are long-term European, US infrastructure investors. They make a decision to invest into fund manager like Actis and GA for a better future, for a better tomorrow, because they know that we're delivering investments in long-term sustainable energy projects where we're helping countries that have suffered historically from attracting foreign capital to deliver their decarbonization targets and in a sustainable manner. So my message is what we're looking for stability from the political, economic sector, and then we can deliver the funds that are going to bring in the energy transition for tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jaroslava, Korpanec, for this very clear message. Actis is focused on renewable energy, so those of you who are interested in working with Actis, you should also focus in this area. This is not particularly, there is no one technology that we have in mind for today, but renewable, of course, will take the most part of it. Thank you, all the speakers, for the introductions. We are ready now for the first session of the day, and I will invite the speakers on the stage. I will start with the moderator, Varinia Radu, CEO of Energynomics. Varinia, please take this seat here. And then Mr. Alastair Hammond, CEO of Rezolv Energy. Please join us on the stage. Will Herlinger, Head of Investment at Renewables. Please take care of the steps and also on the stage, any seat you like. Maria Di Melo, Principal Energy Policy with the EBRD. Good morning, nice to see you. Thank you. Adrian, Founder and Chairman of the Board, AG Brand. Stelian Favieli, Managing Partner, Nofar Energy. And Mr. Breandan MacAmhlaoibh. I'm sorry, I was convinced that I would blow it. CTO Energy, WELink Group. Thank you very much for being here with us. My job will end now for the next 50 minutes. Varinia will take control. I think that all the microphones are started already. The idea is to get to know each other and get us to know you better, so that we can have something meaningful to discuss after the session. Varinia, please.
Hello? Oh, okay. Well, hello again. Thank you very much for our panelists today. Our first session is designed to, let's say, set the scene, open the discussion on the Romanian landscape, especially in renewables, in terms of regulatory and legal framework, opportunities, lessons learned, and obviously, I think we will hear more after this panel from Andre President, but I think now, would like to start by saying I'm very glad that I know many of you, let's say, and we've been working together. I'm an energy lawyer by trade, partner with CMS as well. So in this role, I've worked with you here, and I wanted to have the chance today to talk with both companies like Rezolv, Nala, on your experience in Romania. You are, let's say, British grown investment into Romania, but as well as we have here very successful investments out of Israel, early movers in the market. We have foreign investors, I know it's Irish, British, as well as Romanian, very successful Romanian EPC contractor that has started in what we call the first wave of renewables back in 2007 and 8. So we have a plethora of experience here and credentials that I think will be making the conversation interesting. And I'd like to start with Alastair Hammond, CEO of Rezolv Energy. As we heard already from Jaroslava, Rezolv is the platform in CE by Actis, investing largely in renewables. You personally have a tremendous experience in the region, again from back 15 years ago. And now I think I see you are one of the first movers in what we call the second wave of renewables, which started about 4 or 5 years ago. And we wanted to hear your thoughts about, let's say, why is Rezolv, let's say, putting such an important bet on the region and especially in Romania. You have large investments in both wind and solar. And what are your thoughts now after a few years of having projects developed, financed, and undergoing advanced construction stage? And please.
Jaroslava has obviously given the background of why Rezolv was invested in by Actis. As Varinia said, my background goes back to 2006 when I came from the UK, having worked in private finance and PPPs and the early sort of government-backed private sector investment. with a view to sort of bringing renewable energy investment into Central and Southeastern Europe, investing in Croatia, Poland, Romania. Romania was my biggest investment in the first wave of renewables. Those renewables required significant government subsidies to come about. We had either feed-in tariffs or public or some sort of green certificate schemes. Those of us in renewables know the history of that. It was a bit of boom and bust, and suffered from a lot of interest, a lot of growth, very, very quickly, probably not controlled in the best possible way, and led to governments pulling back from their commitments, which the industry across the region then suffered from. We went 10 years into the desert. We stayed around in my former company, waiting, because we knew that it would come around at the time when renewables would provide the lowest cost of additional energy. We have reached that point, and that started to become apparent in about 2019. Poland started to move. There's a massive untapped potential in Romania, second largest country by size, by population, with a massive opportunity around growth. It is one of the potential industrial heartlands of Europe. That requires energy. There is a lot of wind energy, there's a lot of solar energy. There was a good regulatory environment. The Romanians had, maybe learning from the past, had established a framework for allowing bilateral PPAs relatively early in the process, essential to enable private investors and particularly C&I customers, corporate industrial customers, to invest in getting their energy directly from renewable energy projects. That brings about the certainty of income that project finance needs, that equity investment needs, in order to invest in projects. Why Romania? Scale. It's already been mentioned. Romania has large areas which welcome investment. I've been investing across many countries. You don't come across areas anywhere in Europe, I don't think, which are more welcoming from the local economies for investment. We're investing in a 460 megawatt wind farm in Buzău County, not that far from Bucharest. The GDP in Buzău is 27% of Bucharest. The people in that area want investment. They need investment. They want to be part of energy transition. We're providing directly in the construction of our projects, directly providing skilled labour. Building in Buzău now, the local contractors, many of them, of course, Romanian, are hiring directly from the local communities. That is our commitment. That is one of our requirements. As a major international investor that sort of supports the sort of highest international norms, actually beyond often, we are looking to make sure that we leave a lasting impact in those communities. And we're doing the same in Arad County, where we're preparing to build our Dharma project. That is the largest solar project in Europe that currently has a building permit. So there are others that are mooted that might come. They've still got to get through a few hurdles. But as I stand at the moment, I can say we have a building permit. We are the largest solar project in Europe. That's really exciting. That's over 1 gigawatt. That is reusing damaged land. We're looking to add in terms of a positive impact in nature, positive impact to the local communities. This sort of project is a project that becomes a flagship for any country, any industry, and a Rezolv with the backing of Actis. We're committed to making this project a flagship to Europe to show what can be done in terms of delivering renewable energy at the most affordable cost of additional energy. Yes, there are challenges with renewables. Everybody talks about storage. Similarly, we're committed to adding storage to all of our projects to make Transelectrica's life easier, to make the regulator's life easier, to make everybody's life easier. Renewables on its own is not the answer, but I can honestly tell you, as evidenced by our lowest bid into the recent CFD auction, it is, and why could I do that? I could do that because I have the backing of a major international investor that has experience of doing this all around the world, how we can actually get the best out of the equipment, how we can service it the best, how we can manage it most effectively. So renewable energy is here to stay. It's fundamentally important to Romania that it has a consistent and growing source of renewable energy. A lot of the international investors are looking for companies within their supply chains to have a source of renewable energy. Companies in Romania as part of the automotive sector, maybe things will change. I'd like to think not in the current hiatus we currently have, but in order to win those international contracts, companies will have to show that they can get locally sourced renewable energy. That will be part of the demands of the very large OEMs that have adopted some very aggressive renewable energy targets, largely driven by the requirements of their customers, whether that be B2B or B2C. Romania is way ahead of the curve. We didn't have much new wind onto the grid in the last few years. Ourselves and some of the people here are doing our best to rectify that. Yes, there's been a massive increase in solar, particularly in distributed solar, but distributed solar plus distributed storage, notwithstanding the large storage, will take away a lot of the noise that everybody has within renewable energy. This is unstable. We've got peak prices. It will over time even itself out. Not entirely. It's not going to be that easy, but it will get easier, and you have to start somewhere. So Romania has started providing a very good environment for investors like ourselves. We need certainty. We do need response from the authorities that we need to interact with. Sometimes it does take a long time. I understand they have challenges, not least based on the volume, not least on the fact there might be a conflict on the door. So there are reasons, but those reasons can be taken into account. And yes, some of my investments are delayed, but we are ready this year to invest over 2.3 in total, but starting from last year into this year, 2.3 billion euros into the renewable energy infrastructure of Romania. And it wouldn't stop there. That doesn't even include half of our plans for storage to co-locate. So Romania, it's great to do business. I started doing business in 2011 in Romania. I was very proud of the wind farm we built back then. 32 turbines back in those days was 80 megawatts. 32 turbines now is over 250 megawatts. The scale is much bigger. The technology is much better, but we need to continue to invest.
Thank you very much, Alastair. I should say that once we hear the story, let's say, from each of our speakers, I'll allow time for Q&A, both from myself and from the room. So that's very telling from Rezolv, and hopefully your project will be the new flagship, as you say, like Kojalac was 15 years back. We can prove that it can be done in Romania successfully. Following on, Will Harbinger is the head of investments for Nala Renewables. Will would like to tell us more a little bit. Maybe Nala is, let's say, a newer investor in the regional and Romanian landscape. However, very powerful and determined to make Romania a success and a core market, from what I understand. And very happy to have worked together on one of your projects. Please tell us, how do you see, why you chose Romania, what you like, and what you think it's best to, or would you like to improve or see things shaping up differently in the future to really make Romania a core market for Nala.
Thanks, Varinia. So just a little bit about maybe Nala to start with, because we're not as maybe infamous as Rezolv in the region. in a good way, Alice, of course. So yeah, we're a global IPP backed by two shareholders. The first one being Trafigura, a global commodities trader. Some of you will have heard of them. And the other IFM, which is a global pension fund manager type institution. We have assets in South America, North America, across Europe, and also in Asia as well. So very kind of geographically spread. But as kind of Varinia pointed out, we have identified Romania as one of kind of 5 or 6 core markets that we would like to focus on in the next couple of years. Our total portfolio across the globe is around 2.5 gigawatts, but there's a good, substantial portion of that is in Romania, almost 700 megawatts if you include what we have in development. And generally speaking, what we like about Romania is sort of, a lot of what Alastair touched on, but it's a great place to do business, generally speaking. Highly competent counterparties, typically. We like the market in terms of the fundamentals. If you look at kind of, demographics, power price analysis, industrial analysis, all that kind of stuff, we really do feel it is a market that is extremely well placed for growth. The regulatory environment, although it can be challenging at some points, typically speaking, is one that is, we are able to navigate. And I think, the fact that we signed 2 transactions last year, one for a co-located solar and BESS project and one for the wind project called Gala, which Varinia helped us on, kind of shows the commitment and our kind of, faith in the market, let's say. In terms of, maybe things that would help improve and help us invest even further, although we're committed, I think, regardless. Regulatory stability is always a kind of big one. There's a lot going on at the moment in various topics, politically, but also around various taxes and stuff like that. Having that kind of consistent regulatory stable base, particularly for our shareholders, is one which will allow us to invest more and more and more in Romania. But as I said, we like the market, and hopefully we can do a lot more transactions in the next 2-3 years.
That's good to know. I like to hear that more are coming, and more of these success stories attract more success and so on, especially coming from the UK. An important point that was mentioned by both of you is regulatory stability, framework, and generally the policy and energy policy. And Romania has really enjoyed a few amazing years in terms of attracting investors, as it was mentioned by Ambassador Portman as well, in all of the subsectors, let's say, in the energy space, from especially renewables, of course, but hydro. We're trying to attract, shape a new industry in the hydrogen side. Of course, the batteries, I think, come naturally, not in Romania, but around the world and the countries that are fastly deploying renewables as a natural solution. So that's something that has to be, let's say, deciphered by the investors and the financiers together to make it commercial and fastly deployed. And I think it's important to go back to the policy and the fact that we look back 15 years ago when we had first tried to foster renewables. We needed some support schemes, and fast forward to now, again, we needed some support schemes, and we benefit from all of this grant funding from EU, which obviously had to be rolled out through various schemes and auctions. And a great part of it was, I think, the contribution of EBRD, who's not only a strategic investor, but also a policy making, assisting, and Maria de Melo here, she's a principal at the Energy Policy Group at EBRD. She's been one of the drivers and the leaders of the most awaited support scheme that has been rolled out successfully last year in Romania, the Contracts for Difference scheme. And not only that, and we invited here Maria to tell us more about your experience working in Romania, and obviously your wider view, because you work in so many jurisdictions that are deploying and developing various support schemes, not only for classical, let's say, onshore oil, solar and wind, but as well as hydrogen, batteries, and offshore wind and others. Please tell us your, let's say, lessons learned. What do you think about the Romanian support scheme, and obviously what we should do in the future to continue this amazing start that we had in the last few years, and obviously build on the success of the first CFD auction.
Thank you, Varinia. Good morning, everyone. It's an immense pleasure for me to be here today, not only because we're going to talk about Romania, but because we are here after a successfully launched CFD auction. And at EBRD, we started actually engaging on this topic many, many years ago. My colleague Roxana is there, former colleague Roxana is there. We started the assignment, I think, back 2020. I think it was COVID times or even before. So you can see that it was a long process to get here. It's, you know, like in every country, this is not specific to Romania, but every time we need to change the policy framework and create a policy framework that is supportive, that is conducive to investments, that is linked with well-designed auctions, and that leverages the market, electricity market. It is a complex project. It's hard to have a quick fix. There is no one-size-fits-all. Every country will have its own specificities. Investors will look for certain things in a particular country. There is the historic behind it as well. So countries that have had issues like that was mentioned here before, have issues where they have done retroactive changes in the legislation or didn't fulfill the contracts, will inevitably suffer a bit more to get the private sector back in. And so for me, it's been really rewarding to be working with the Romanian government and working on the CFD auction. And importantly, seeing the results and seeing the market has been really, it has shown how transformative it could be. So for us, there are about 3 things, I would say, that create the supportive policy framework that would then lead to the investments. That is policy commitment from the government. If the government is not committed to running the auction or creating a support scheme, we're just going to go around and there's always going to be an issue. And when I'm talking about the government, I'm not talking only about the ministry. The ministry and all the other institutions. In Romania, we work extensively with Transelectrica, with ANRE, with OPCOM, many other stakeholders, but these would be the critical ones. And everyone recognized the importance of what was being done, the importance of achieving this policy framework that would be conducive, and everyone worked cooperatively to that success story. Because it is teamwork. It's not, one institution alone cannot really make the difference. We need to be all together. And with that, let's say sitting around the table and discussing what can be done, we need the long-term commitment. So there's a need for the ministry or the policymaker to actually let the market know what the plan is. And Romania was very good at that. They said 10 gigawatts ideally is what we would like. We put on our recovery and resilience plan 1.5 gigawatts of CFDs by 2024, and that's what they delivered on. So they delivered on the 1.5 gigawatts of CFDs in 2024, but they told the market there is a plan for another 3.5 this year, next year. So that helps the market, that helps the developers to plan and to really assess their costs, because it's different from a developer's perspective, and they feel free to all correct me if I'm wrong, to invest in 100 megawatts this year, or knowing that you have 100 megawatts this year and you probably have another project of 200 that can be the year after and the year after. It provides that certainty. Additionally, we needed to have a robust legal framework, in particular given the context in Romania, which as well was implemented through a government decision, which is very clearly outlines what the legal framework is. It has a link to then ministry orders and other types of secondary legislation that need to be, that give the framework of how the tenders would be run. And finally, but not at all less important, clear, transparent contractual frameworks. So a CFD contract that is clear. Everyone understands what is covered and what is not covered. And that's okay if it's not covered. But as long as everyone knows what is it that they are bidding to, what type of contractual framework they will then have for their own projects, because it will impact everything. It will impact their ability to get financing, the ability to combine with other types of supports for the same power plant. So these would be the key areas that need to be, let's say, ticked for the private sector to come. And then to wrap up this process, you then have an auction that you can run that is also clear, transparent. You know what the criteria are, so you know whether you make it or not. before. There is little room for a lot of subjectivity. I mean, it's also Romania. It's a country that knows very well how to run public procurement. It's not a country that struggles, like in other jurisdictions where we work, struggles with lack of capacity in running tenders. It's not the case in Romania, obviously. And so when you run an auction like that and you allow the private sector to actually put the project together in the way they feel is more fitting to their project, so remove the number of restrictions that are unnecessary. So for example, in Romania, the developers were free to bid for a part of their power plant. And the rest of the power plant, they could have whatever bilateral contracts they wanted. This is important because it changes the project economics. It often allows the price under the CFD to be a bit more, let's say, lower from the consumer perspective. So combining different types of schemes is important. It also gave all of the freedom if the developers wanted to do battery storage. That was fine. There's no restriction on that. But the supported part is only the megawatts of solar or wind. So providing this flexibility within a framework that is supportive is really what drives the outstanding results that we saw in Romania. And I think also important to note is that the Romanian government has supported 1.5 gigawatts directly through the CFDs. But these projects, they are not 1.5 gigawatt projects in total. They are much more megawatts. That's also transformative. So how we are using public resources, because these are state aid schemes, how we are using them to actually leverage many more megawatts than what the government is directly supporting. Another really interesting feature about the Romanian CFD scheme, and I think really Romania on this point has really been in the thought leadership of the EU member states, especially the ones that use a modernization fund, is the way the scheme is funded. Because the scheme is not funded through a levy on the consumer, like in many EU markets. It's funded through modernization fund resources. So Romania is selling their own carbon credits and using that to finance renewables. This has been transformative in the European Union. Many other countries have now come in and asked the modernization fund either to be a part of the fund, because they were not before, or to ask how do we do that, because this is more efficient than doing other types of support with government resources. So this is why I think for me it's such a transformative program. It's, there's the CFD, but there is also the context in which the CFD was done. There is the funding of the CFD, many things. So at EBRD, we are lucky to work with many jurisdictions. We work with African countries, we work with Central Asia, we work with Europe, both EU and non-EU member states in Europe. And we really see what was achieved by Romania and the path that Romania is taking to really be a leader on renewable energy, truly inspiring, and it has already spilled over to other countries where we work in, who also want to know, how did the Romanians do it? Why was it so successful? Can we get the same prices, is what other countries ask us to do. So we say, we don't know, it depends. Can you attract the private sector at scale so that there is enough competition and a stable legal framework? So we do work with many countries. We see these results of Romania truly, inspiring. They come on the back of a lot of hard work, as I said, and a lot of commitment from all the institutions. And importantly, we'll see the second auction, the second round. We hope to have an equal success or even more success. I think these prices are quite hard to beat, so I'm gonna keep my expectations in line with what was provided here. But I'm hoping to see, many more investments in different technologies, maybe look into offshore wind in Romania, but also in Europe more generally, and continue to see the private sector also challenging the schemes, because that's equally important. So I'll end with this, which was when we did our bidders conference under the CFD scheme in Bucharest, the room was full, online was full, everything was full. Everyone wanted a piece of, and to ask a question. And, a lot of developers, a lot of participants were unhappy with, this this detail here, this detail there, or they were unsure whether they would be eligible or not. And there was a lot of thought process from the Romanian authorities and EBRD as a partner to the authorities, to think, okay, how do we balance this? Because this is a balance, and everyone needs to take a bit of risk, and we do what is possible within the frame in which we operate. But it was really important to hear the market, to listen what the concerns were, to clarify what was not clear, because that also happens sometimes. Something is not necessarily clear, and so it needs to be rectified or clarified. And so all that exercise by the Romanian authorities was really critical, listening to the market and making the changes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. I should add, just as a point, because we're here in London, that largely the design of the scheme was inspired by the UK model, and of course then adjusted and adapted to the Romanian specificities, and it's great that it was very successful. And as a key takeaway, I think dialogue with the market is very important. Continuous learning from all of these previous experiences, and generally stakeholder engagements, all the stakeholders' engagement made it possible and made it a success. And moving on, we see obviously a lot of these renewable projects it means taking a lot of risk on various things, from the permitting authorization part, regulatory licensing in the energy, and then moving on, needing to have a bankable project, getting it to finance. You really need, besides having an offtake arrangement, whether it's a CFD scheme or a PPA, you need a very good EPC contractor to actually bring to fruition to the project to make it reach what we call commercial operation stage. And I think I'm very happy to have here with us a Romanian brand, Romanian company that's been extremely successful and had a good vision back in 2008, I understand. Adrian Stan, founder and chairman of the board, AJ brand. And I'll invite you to tell us more about how you started and what your offering is right now. And both an investor as well as a service provider, an EPC provider for renewables. Started in Spain, and I think now building on the back of the experience from the first wave of renewables. Please tell us what you bring to the table, and to the still investors that are still considering Romania, why you think we can bring these projects to execution in a swift manner, on time, and hopefully on budget.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. It's very nice to be present here, because in a very small room, maybe with 60 or 70 persons present here, I'm seeing person that I have many years ago that I didn't saw. For instance, I'm coming from a very small town, from Cernavoda, from a nuclear power plant. We have only one in Romania. And I see in the same room with me also a leader in the construction, a CEO from Electra Invest. And we didn't saw each other many years. So right now with the energy sector booming in Romania, it's perfect that we have this occasion to know each other better and to discuss about this sector. Yes, we started back in 2008 in the final, in the winter. We was electrical subcontractor in the first wind farm for Enel Green Power back then. But in the final of 2012, where the project in Romania already was stopped with the green certificate changing law, we had a small project of PV. Back then it was, 5-10 megawatts maximum that it was possible to build every PV. The biggest PV was Ciuperceni, 56, if I remember well, because I'm seeing here Miguel. He was in that project also involved. And we had more than 2,000 workers, and we was willing to go up in other countries, let's say, because we had a great team, and we cannot give up on this sector. Even Romania forgot about to believe in the energy sector, in the renewable energy sector in that moment. But also we understand that upside we was growing a lot, because right now we are 6,000 workers in the whole group. We built a lot of PVs, more than 7 gigawatts in the last 5 years only. I will remember only the biggest project. The biggest in Spain was 626 megawatts for Solaria, a Spanish company. This project, only the Romanian could build so fast. It was built in 10 months, working day and night. It was unbelievable, but we did it. And what I want to point here is that in the final, everything it's very important is the human factor. Because I'm working with someone, because I like the person. Also, the clients like what we provide, and this is very important for us. That's why the name of the company is AJ, Adrian and Johnny, me and my brother. He's on the field, I'm in the conferences, let's say. And only doing the things very well, we continue with our clients. It's very important because right now in Romania we have let's say, the best moment for the energy sector. We have a Minister of Energy who have a lot of energy, and he is very involved in our sector. He communicates a lot with all of us, and this is very important. Also in ANRE, we feel that we can go and discuss with them. And this is very important to have the authorities, because it's not the best moment, let's say, geopolitical, but together we can face all the problems. The biggest project that we're building right now in Romania, it's 640 megawatt of PV, and we have 680 of storage. It's near Bucharest, 40 kilometers away, for an investment fund. I cannot say the name because they will give me a fee. It's like that. But we have a lot of projects in Romania, 1.3 gigawatt under construction right now. So it's a very good moment. We are all speaking about gigawatt, not like in the past of 10 megawatts. So big projects also come with big challenges or big problems, but we, AJ, we are trying to solve it. And that's why basically I said that it's very important, the human factor. So you'll know that in AJ it's very important. Okay, we grow a lot, we have a board, but it's very important to be flexible, to take very fast the decision, and that's why I'm here, I'm present. I won't say that I'm taking the decision, because my wife is taking the decision all the time, to be honest. But we are there present day and night, working with our manpower. So you can believe that, yes, we have in Romania a very big EPC. I see a lot of companies here. I see Ciprian from Parapet also, Electra. So we can build all these projects. We have also a Spanish partner where we take very big project together. I see Stefan here from Coxa Bengoa, a public listed company, very strong in a lot of countries. So we are working very close together. So it's very important that in the final to work person with person, people with people, because this is so in Romania only here on the stage we have thousands and thousands of megawatts, but in Romania 2 or 3 years ago we all was speaking only about projects, and we was also a developer, and for us it was a very successful story, because in only 16 months we developed 700 megawatt and we sold it to RTB. It was more than nice. It was perfect for us. It helped us a lot. And the last project that we have of 340 megawatt under a DSA, Development Services Agreement, we will finalize in about maximum 2 months. So it was a crazy story, let's say, for us, because we started this and a lot of noise was on the Romanian market, and it was very hard to be well concentrated and to decide what is a hot project and what is not, only speaking about project, because right now a lot of projects are coming to, let's say, in a very advanced stage, but also we have more projects that are not real and are not bankable. Even us as investors, as AJ, we want to buy some small project, and we did the due diligence, and 90% of the project we didn't buy it because it wasn't bankable project. So it's very important to have real project, and that's why I'm happy to have Favi in my left, because they really have a project on the Romanian market also, and they are a player that they are really building, not only speaking.
Thank you very much. It's great to hear. I remember a few years ago, the market had been, let's say, coming ahead of what was possible. At the time, there were so many projects, and we were wondering who's going to actually build them. And congratulations for being able to bring back, I'm sure you brought back to Romania a lot of people to be able to deploy such large project in a short amount of time.
Yes, sorry for. I saw, for instance, even yesterday here in London, I was in the truck for the ice cream. They are Romanian guys. In the hotel, in the breakfast, I was hearing also. So we are everywhere. We are a force. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, you will find everywhere. In Spain, where we are going, we have a lot of Romanian also there. So we have a lot of manpower. We only need to pay the price, the price that they need to receive in order to build this project.
Thank you. As you mentioned, we now, I think this year will be the kind of a breakthrough in terms of Romania getting to construct, to commission probably more than 1 gigawatt of what it has been so far, a big pipeline of projects under development. So I think it will be, from this perspective, a good year. Now let's see how the networks will be able to cope with that all of a sudden, since we've seen already some trepidations brought by the massive investments from the prosumer as well. Going further to Stelian Favieli, Managing Director for Nofar Energy. Nofar is Israeli investment and one of the most successful, I would say, and again, maybe as far as I know, the first mover in the market. I remember back in 2019, when I saw this project, we were wondering how to do a PPA when the Romanian legislation didn't allow any, and exploring how virtual PPAs would work for this project, for your first project. But since then, you successfully commissioned one of the largest, if not the largest to date, solar plant in Romania, and you have an amazing pipeline of projects. Tell us, what's the secret ingredient of executing so fast and well projects that are both sizable and with of course with your team and backed up by investors? What is your take from the Romanian experience? Obviously, you live in Romania and you know the market very well, and the people and the stakeholders, and you can give us your best, let's say, best take on what is happening right now in the sector.
Okay, thank you for inviting me. First of all, so a little bit about Nofar. So Nofar was founded in 2010 by Ofer Yanai, which is also present here with us. In 2020, it became a listed company in the stock exchange of Tel Aviv. And the vision of this listing was to invest in and to go outside of Israel, which is a very small market. So I can say today, if we are looking after 5 years, we are present in mostly in Europe. We are present in Serbia, in Poland, in Germany, in Spain, in the United States also, and in Italy. But our two, let's say, major investments are in the UK and in Romania. When here in the UK, we have already connected a storage plant. And we are now building, I think, one of the biggest projects of more than 600 megawatts of storage here with our partner, Atlantic Green. If I'm going to Romania, as you mentioned, so yes, really it was, let's say we looked on the map of Europe and we looked, okay, where is what we do with the money, as every investor is looking for. And we saw that Romania is, in those days, in 2020, let's say, is, let's say, underdeveloped. If we looked at the market in those days. So we started to move step by step. So I think our first project and the biggest one with our partners of 155 megawatts was the project that opened our appetite, okay, which today is already, as you said, commissioned. We have COD and we are going forward with it. And since then we decided that since Romania is going, I will say it, for an investor, you are looking on a cycle, okay? And we see this cycle, and this is what will bring us to those days and to these days. The cycle was, okay, there are no projects. In 2021, who entered to the market, there was nothing, okay? So we started to look a little bit, what are we going to do? We started to think, okay, let's develop. Let's co-develop. Let's buy, ready to build. And at the end of 2021, we started to look and to say, okay, the cycle will be, at the end, the grid will be full at some point. So if we are now starting in end of 2021 to start the development, we will end 1.5 years, 2 years, depends how lucky we are or how fast we are. So we will have the project in 2023, which was not let's say for our timetable, it was not an investment issue. So we took the co-development and RTB road. So we started to look for a very good project. As Adrian said, 90% fell apart when we start to make the due diligence in those days, in the beginning of 2022. In every coffee shop that you went in Romania, you were hearing 100 mega, 200 mega, 70, 100 mega, I don't know what. So it was like a crazy market. But we succeeded to find the right partners, the right co-developers, and pretty much we really succeeded to get to ready to build with all our projects. So let's say the next cycle was, okay, we have the project, we see that we are getting there, so you need the financing. The financing in 2023, the commercial banks were still afraid, I would say it like this. So we approached the institutions, and we are working very well with EBRD. So we succeeded also to finance our project that gave us the push to start building them. So today we are building already 400 megawatts, which are already in a stage to be connected at the end of this energized. At the end of this, very important, energized at the end of this year. And we are looking forward. We are starting now a new project of 256 megawatts that we start to build it. So we will be with around 650 megawatts of project under development, under construction, more to say. And again, this brings us to the next cycle, which is now, the storage one, because as we see in this panel and in this room, everybody is building. At the end, depends more on the authorities, Transelectric and so on. We will connect them at the end. So we need to start to think on the next step. The next step is clear, is the storage that we must, of course, first of all, the balancing and so on, and we need also to protect the grid and so on and so on. We can make 1 hour to discuss about this. But this is, I think, the next one. The next also is the PPAs that as you mentioned, just in 2023, we could have started thinking about it, okay, because we didn't have, let's say, a framework for this. So I think this year will be a year that the PPAs will start to appear in the market, the real PPAs. So I think this will also make things happen for the financing of the project, and will make easy for the investor to develop more and more as needed in Romania. About the EPC, it's the same story also on this division. Okay, when we started to build 150 megawatts in 221, we raised the hand. Who wants to bid? Who is coming to the tender? No one. You know? Who is here? Romanian? No, nothing. No one was present. You know. So we start to think at the end. We, as everybody knows, we built it with a Turkish firm. But I think exactly what happened in the rest of what I call the division, also with the EPC. So started to enter international players, like Portuguese players, Turkish players, Polish players that are now, when we make, and all of us are in the same, when you make, you know, the tender, you have at least 6, 7, 8 players that can attend this tender. And to this, as Adrian here and others, also the Romanian EPC started to work and to see that there is a potential, and as we see it, and this is exactly also because we have one contract with the Portuguese company. Most of their employees, by the way, are also Romanian. So the international, at the end, they are also Romanian. So this is part of the story. I think that this industry, and this is for everybody to understand, this industry is bringing back most of the Romanian that went away to Spain, Italy, and so on, and to England. Because today I think also the salaries are pretty much, I wouldn't say maybe even, but pretty much, and people start to think, okay, I go to stay with the family. I'm not somewhere. Why to do it? So I think it's also very good. It makes strong the economy of Romania when people are coming from outside. So we generate most of the economy through this. We also, as mentioned here, we also participated in the CFD, which is a very good, I think, program for us. And when I say us, to the investors, because it's also make the appetite to grow. So we are looking forward to develop the storage, the financing, the PPAs. I think this is the next step for Romania, as we are seeing, and we will also be, of course, doing this. So I hope that we will see much more when we meet again next year.
Thank you very much. That's really a great success story. And as you say, it has a lot of wins, including getting back our people that obviously gained experience and are happy to come home and contribute to this unprecedented investments in the energy sector, and probably not only in renewables. But obviously, I guess we have to find the money to build all of this. Besides the financing that we get from home, I guess UK brings many opportunities in terms of finding investors, funds, strategic partners, and things like that. And last but not least, we have Breandan MacAmhlaoibh. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. CTO Energy for WELink Group, the WE Group. And again, investing in Romania and Spain and other parts of Europe in renewables and batteries, and having great experience from the markets that you've successfully deployed these projects. Tell us, please, how do you find the Romanian landscape, and what are the both challenges and opportunities that you're facing?
Okay, so I think I'll start as well by giving a quick background, not too long, on WELink Group. So we're a privately owned company founded in 2007. We have had the approach from the beginning to get into the development and the execution, even engineering and building of the projects to COD. Typically then we're working with funds to sell on these projects and stay on to asset management. To date, we've done over 1.5 gigawatt of renewable projects. Early days, our biggest success was here in the UK. So we're an Irish-owned company with a heavy presence in the UK. We've always worked with local co-developers in every market we went to. So in the UK, with British Solar Renewables, at the time under the FIT scheme, we built the two largest solar plants here in the UK, 60 and 70 megawatts. And interesting, when we took these projects on with British Solar Renewables, the FIT scheme was ending in March, and we started these projects in December, two of them. At that time, 60, 70 megawatts, back in 10 years ago, it was a real challenge. And I have to say, that was my experience of working with Romanian contractors at the time. You know, they were able to bring a huge workforce, highly qualified, highly organized, and help us to deliver those projects. Since then, we've moved a lot into the Southern European market. We've been in Portugal, Spain, and Italy, building primarily solar projects. And I have to say, in Portugal, we have built the largest PV project there, 220 megawatt, which we still own and operate. I think Adrian was even on the site. There was a lot of Romanians. We had a lot of support from Varinia, a lot of Romanian companies that came on and brought it on. At one stage, I think we had over 800 workers on the site. It was one of the most, given the location in Portugal, it's one of the most challenging ones. This project has also given us a lot of learnings, because right now this will become the largest hybridized, privately owned, not utility owned, project probably in Europe. It's certainly will come online next year. It's under the balance of the hybridization of that project is under construction with wind and batteries, and we will eventually produce over 1 terawatt hour of energy. But what is really interesting is when we started to look at this, we looked at that, we had a point of connection, and there was no more availability on the grid to connect. And we were only utilizing 16% of that point of connection. When we fully realized the additional solar, the batteries, the wind, our point of connection will exceed, our utilization of the point of connection will exceed 50%. And a lot of that has been enabled by the regulatory framework that's in place in Portugal, which we don't see, for instance, in markets that we're also operate in Spain and Italy. And I think having talked with my partners in Romania, still to come in Romania, allow this hybridization, allow you to optimize the grid, optimize the use of the point of connection, and not require further investment. So why are we in Romania? Well, 4 years ago, we saw the move for BESS. Even at that time in Spain and Italy, people are saying, no, it's too early, the market's not there. But we could see the amount of electrification going on with renewables, the demand for more electricity in the network because of EV chargers is going to increase the demand. Here in the UK, by the way, we are also producing factory-built homes that are highly energy efficient and only run on electricity, which we also see as the future. So given these metrics, we saw that energy storage would be extremely important. So to date, we have about 4 gigawatts of storage in development in various stages across Portugal, Spain, and Italy. And why we came to Romania is because one of our key contractors that have worked on a lot of sites in Spain, in Portugal, and Italy, Fire and Energy, were like, look, Breandan, you've got to come and look at Romania. Yeah? We're not just going outside and building. The market here is So I'm quite excited now to be coming in. We're new to the market, to come into the market, to have a look at it, especially for standalone batteries, because absolutely we can talk about bringing all these renewables on, but we have an aging grid in Europe. It's a reality. We're trying to build more interconnectors to bring resilience to the grid. I think Europe has done a good job compared to some of the other markets, like you've seen the blackout in Chile, you've seen blackouts in Texas. We've done a good job from a regulatory point of view in bringing resilience to the grid, but batteries are going to be key. And for us, our main focus in coming to Romania is looking at standalone batteries, or looking at how we can help developers, local developers, or work and help to bring hybridization, because we think this is also key. Both of these will allow the increase in renewables without having such heavy investment in the grid infrastructure.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad that you bring these synergies to the market and help the standalone batteries. We will talk more about in the second part of the event about the new technologies, and especially on batteries and the challenges in Romania and how they'd be integrated. And I think, as you said, the theme started last year as well, is very much on enhancing the grid to be able to cope with all of these huge investments into new generation capacities. I'd like to give the floor, I'd like to ask the audience if you have any questions.
Maybe just one question, because we are slightly over budget in terms of time. So one question or comment at the moment, please.
Hi, thank you. I'll try and be quick. It's Jason Hunter from Give Energy. Two-part question. Firstly, it's a bit selfish. There's clearly a lot of investment available, and there's a big appetite for investment in renewables and energy storage in Romania. What could we do as a European-based, UK-based battery manufacturer do to help you deploy some of that capital? And the second question, which is probably slightly more importantly, is what are you going to do, and what are the plans today to avoid the connections crisis that we're facing in this country with the long durations and the long waits for connecting all of these kind of projects?
So I think, look, on the battery side, at least from our perspective, it comes down to pretty much two factors. One, what tier you are as a manufacturer or battery supplier. That's important, obviously, from raising a finance and kind of investor confidence and things like that. And then the other is price. Now, I appreciate it's very difficult sometimes to compete with Chinese entities and things like that. But ultimately, as investors, those are kind of the key things we will focus on. Now, if you could have some sort of technological edge that we can kind of model out and understand, then yes, we would definitely look at it. And obviously, our preference would be to go with kind of EU-based or European-based manufacturers and kind of suppliers. But at the moment, particularly in a market that can be quite risky, maximizing on cost and, let's say, reputation via tier one style counterparties is probably the most important thing.
I'd add to that, it does come down to price. Levelized cost of energy is everything. Energy prices have been a political football for a very long time. I mean, that's one of the issues that you have to deal with. Political cycle is a lot slower than an investment cycle. That's what international investors are often looking at. They're looking for continuity, stability, and the like. Batteries, Europe has got a long way behind, which is a shame. Not to go across you, there is a very good battery producer that is growing very quickly in Romania, providing some very interesting technology. I think the answer has to come from technological advantages. It's about cycle times, it's about heating and cooling, it's about the ease of installation. A lot of batteries are temporary facilities. From a planning perspective, that's probably not the best solution. But at the moment, when we're facing planning challenges, we end up looking at containerized solutions coming from wherever as the easiest and the easiest route to get there. I would look at other alternatives, but then I end up with a much longer planning cycle, which then doesn't necessarily tie in with the project. Grid connection times, Romania's got equal challenges. However, again, come back to one of the advantages and why I like Romania. Transelectrica with Anre introduced N-1, the whole idea that you can actually don't have to actually max out the grid in every single scenario. So when I look at my big wind farm and 300 megawatt wind farm, I'm facing, in order to meet the criteria to go to N-1, which enables, sorry if that's a bit technical, but I'm talking about a 15-minute outage that I'm willing to accept as an investor. I can do that, yeah? So, but that needs foresight, that needs grid management, that needs new technologies, that needs new management. It needs a change in the way Transelectrica looks at building their grids, where they've always been in control. We end up with private sector building 400 kV substations. There are many changes and challenges that the grid infrastructure and everybody else is facing. But I do there is an opportunity. I think regulation's going to drive it. It's about upping the game. Europe is great at developing technology. They need to make sure that they stay ahead of the curve. That would be my point.
Please, Adrian.
Also, what I wanted to say, Jason, is that in Romania you will find two of the providers that they already have hundreds of megawatt already in operation. So you will find Huawei, and you will find also Prime, that they already invested hundreds of millions of euro on the market. They have a factory there. So you have a very good product. I know the product because you came in Romania 3 years ago, and for sure it's a market for everybody. But we had first the Romanian started with PV, and now we are adding to the PV the capacity of the storage. So once you have a PV with the inverter and transformer from one of the suppliers, you need to integrate your system to this one. So if I bought already from Huawei the inverter and transformer, I will continue with the same brand with the storage capacity. So you need to be present, to be honest, on the market in order to take the project there, and for this you need to put some skin in the game. Because in the Romanian market, a lot of noise, you will see a lot of brands that are willing to come, but they are not present. So once you have a project and your battery is not working, you need someone to call and to be present there to solve the situation. So these are the things. And about the network, the connection to the grid, I think that we have a lot of projects that will be built, real projects. And after we have the infrastructure, more investors will come, and we can export energy. After that, the investor will make the factories, and they will need energy for the factories, and so on. So I'm confident that this market will continue a lot.
One last question from me, if I may. Obviously, most of you here, IPPs are doing large-scale, utility-scale type projects. Last year, I think it was the first year where the narrative has changed towards looking in a more focused manner to industry and making energy affordable for the industry in order to re-industrialize Europe. We have Minister Spătaru mentioned Draghi report, Leto report, Net Industry Act. Romania is phasing out from the price cap mechanism that the government has extended to the industrials as well during the last few years due to the energy crisis, energy prices crisis, and as the industries will face the reality of competitive market prices right now, where do you see the solutions that you have or investments that do you think there will be more appetite in sort of industry-driven solutions, behind the meter investments rather than just utility scale projects? And please, any of you, if you want to take a bet on this.
Well, one of the things that we're looking at to do with our existing plants is to look at, with the framework that we're seeing from the EU, to look at energy communities, peer-to-peer arrangements, self-consumption usage. So still not directly connecting into industry, but connecting within a radius of an existing plant and providing energy. So one of the schemes we're looking at is like within a particular plant, nursing homes, schools, leisure centres provide the energy, but directly from our own plant, and to get the support that we can increase our export capacity. Like we're only talking 1-2 megawatts to increase our export capacity, because the energy that we're producing is being consumed within the local within a radius of 2, 5, 10 kilometers. And this will enable it, but we need regulatory support on it, because the incumbents sometimes don't want you coming in and eating their pie. But this way we can provide, you know, assurances to these local communities to get a fixed priced energy, lower priced energy, and also to get the benefit of building in their area.
Yeah, this is very important, and it's very timely as well. We just passed the legislation on energy communities, so it's very good to know. Alastair, do you want to make a point?
I mean, behind the meter is an ideal. Obviously, land or space or even existing infrastructure doesn't necessarily make itself available for solar panels on the roofs. But you know, PPAs are coming. We've let 350 gigawatt hours to fund the first phase of our wind project in advance of doing the CFD. Proving that you can actually, with industry support, actually fund these projects. Government support is actually helping. It will actually maybe underpin some of the financing, which is essential. Obviously, the credit rating of your counterpart is really, really important. All sorts of things like that. Virtual PPAs, much misunderstood. I can talk about that for a while if you want, but it does allow multinationals to invest. The simple fact is we're breathing the same air, and fundamentally the grids are getting more and more connected. So a virtual PPA, I mean, there's no way Holland can provide renewable energy for everything it does in the space it has. It has to get its energy from somewhere. So, you know, there is a lot of misunderstanding about a virtual PPA, but it is driving Deutsche Telekom investing in a 460 megawatt wind farm in Buzău County, which is helping the locals, improving the air quality for Romanians. It is actually making it far more attractive to invest. It also, and an industrial scale, who knows what they're doing in 10 or 15 years' time. If you have a virtual PPA, you can move that power around to actually mean that you might be in Germany or Czech Republic now, you might want to relocate your activities to Romania. Under a virtual PPA, a commitment to pay the project for 12 years, you can do that. It's much harder, obviously, if it's a physical connection. You're asking industry to make decisions which are way outside of a planning scale in terms of what they're trying to do. So PPAs are ramping up. They are slow. There's still a lot of education to come, but fundamentally, renewable energy, along with storage to smooth out the demand, to make it easier for the grid, can and will continue to provide the lowest cost of energy into consumers, industrial, commercial, or even and individual households.
Thank you. One last comment from Maria?
Just to complement, absolutely, the regulatory framework needs to be there. And for the virtual PPAs or PPAs in general, the guarantees of origin, which Romania recently also has moved forward that agenda, which is extremely positive. You do need that if you are going to sell to another country, for example, especially within the EU, and Romania has that, progressing towards that. And just one final point is permitting. Streamlining permitting, making it clear, making sure there are no bottlenecks on the way will really help as well to scale up renewables, whether it's through the CFD, PPA, with the energy communities, whichever way you look at it, that's also very important to address.
Great. Thank you so much to my great panelists. Please give a round of applause. Sorry for taking a little bit more time, but I hope it was interesting.
It was a treat. It was a treat. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes break, so don't go very far away. We expect you here very soon for the next parts of our agenda. Thank you.